Marlton, New Jersey is one of those places that is convenience with a capital C. Living in Marlton is the type of suburban town that is just jam-packed with places to eat, shop, and play. And today, on this episode of On the Move, we're gonna be meeting up with Cristina, who bought a house with her husband, Anthony, in Marlton, New Jersey this past year. And we're gonna drive around town and we're gonna talk about the neighborhood that they moved to, why they decided to make a move to Marlton, and all of the things that make this town a great place to raise a family. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Braden, and my partner Trey and I make videos just like this to help people just like you make more informed decisions about their real estate choices. And if you are considering making a move to in and around the south part of the Garden State, we would absolutely love to be your real estate advisors of choice. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, definitely reach out to us, book a consultation, a strategy call, because we would love to help make your next experience in real estate totally awesome, maybe a little bit of fun, and definitely worth it for your next chapter of your life. So definitely reach out to us. We'd love to connect with you. Now, let's get on the road. Let's check out Marlton, New Jersey. We're going to pick up Cristina and take a little spin around town on this episode of On the Move. Let's go. Hi.
Hello.
So good to see you.
Nice to see you.
You ready to drive around Marlton?
Yes.
Awesome. Or Evesham.
Evesham. I call
Evesham.
it Marlton.
Everybody does. That's how you tell you're not from here. So
Yes.
You say Evesham, people are like, oh, they're not from here.
Yeah, no.
So it's one of those weird things where it's like what people don't know is that technically the town is Evesham, but Marlton's actually technically only a small part, or only a part of the town, but the hometown is Marlton. So if you're moving to here, just know, call it Marlton.
Marlton,
You'll do
yes.
just fine.
I get mad when I go to put in an address on my app
Mhm.
or any of my apps, and it will autocorrect to Evesham. I'm like, no, it's Marlton. It's Marlton because it rhymes with my street name.
It does. It does. It's a Marlton thing for sure. How have you been?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Getting acclimated to the town.
Yep.
It's been really, really windy out. So the trees that are in the back of my house, I just watch them sway. I'm like, thank God they're so far away from my house.
Yeah. What's nice about this neighborhood is that a lot of these houses were built in the 50s and 60s. So the streets are tree lined and the trees have had time to mature over the last 70 years now.
Yeah.
But it is a really nice neighborhood. We're in a peasant-run neighborhood. Some people call it Cambridge Park, which is technically the next development over, but they really feel like one big
That's how you can
development.
tell I'm new, because everybody was asking me, oh, where do you live? I'm like, well, Zillow said it's Pheasant Run. They're like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know. They were like, no, girl, you live in Cambridge Park. And I'm
Cambridge Park.
okay.
Yeah, everybody's just gonna call it Cambridge Park, but technically this part of this is called Pheasant Run. And in here you get some like sort of traditional sort of colonials, but they're like 1950s style colonials, 1960s. You get some ranchers as well. The yards here are maintainable. They're not giant, but you have a little bit of space, which is nice.
Yes. And Anthony just actually did his bit of lawn work yesterday, and he was like, oh my God, the yard's so big. What am I going to do? And as soon as he was done at the end of the day, he goes, actually, that was really easy. He was like, it was so flat and so nice compared to our old house where we had a giant hill that he had to mow on the side. So he was like, I just went out there and I did it and it was fine. And I was like, yay.
That's great. What was it that put Marlton at the top of the list for you of places to consider?
I think it was proximity to everything. So when we lived in Browns Mills, I would come out here to do all of my grocery shopping. So I would come out to Wegmans. I would, come out to Costco. I would be so close to what I call the M towns, Marlton, Mount Laurel, Medford. I would always be in this area. So that was one of the big things that we focused on. My mother-in-law lives in Mount Laurel. So her being 10 minutes away versus 35, 40 minutes away is very convenient. Proximity was key. And then just, again, the neighborhood, the feeling of the neighborhood being safe and, kind, and it's just the vibes it gives off. You know what I mean?
That's important. That stuff is important.
One of our favorite things Anthony and I always talk about is after a long day at work, we just drive home, and the second you hit our neighborhood, it's that sigh of relief, like, oh, we're coming home, we're almost home. So it really is just the vibes that it gives off. You're just like, it's nice. Mm-hmm. It's a nice place to live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And this community is great because you're right off of Route 70. Mm-hmm. So geographically, we're about 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Speaking of, I just went to see & Juliet at the, is it Academy of the Arts? Yeah. So that was an amazing play. I loved it. But yeah, it only took us a half an hour, just right after rush hour traffic. I think we headed out there at 6:00.
Yeah. If you're living in Philly and you're looking for a suburb, this is great because you're just beyond the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
But still really close. And there's two ways to get into Philly. You certainly can drive. It's about a 30-minute drive. Or you can go over to Cherry Hill and get the Patco train. And you can take that train into the city directly from there. If maybe you want to enjoy some nightlife and have a little fun and not worry about driving, you can do that as well. But this location, Marlton, I think part of the reason why it is a common spot that people look for is you are located basically at the intersection of Route 70 and 73.
Yeah.
So it is so easy to get everywhere. And probably the next closest town that people align with it is Mount Laurel.
Yes.
And Mount Laurel and Marlton feel like sister towns.
Yes.
Right. If you like one, you probably would be okay with living in the other.
Absolutely.
They do share a regional school district. Parts of Marlton definitely get more rural. There are parts where you can have kind of that more hidden in the woods kind of feel. If you go out towards Marlton Lakes, that has that kind of Medford vibe.
Yes.
So it's kind of that marriage of the two, depending on what part of Marlton you're in. But this part that we're in is more like the Mount Laurel side of things.
Yes.
And you talked about shopping, so I thought we'd actually head on over towards the intersection of 70 and 73, which is where all the shopping is.
Yes.
And it really is everything here.
There is. I love when I'm in a pinch for dinner time and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go to the grocery store. And, Anthony always thinks like Wegmans. He's like, oh, you're going out to Mount Laurel. I'm like, no, I'm literally just going 2 lights up to the ShopRite, or I'm going 2 lights the opposite way to the Acme. Like, it's literally right here. So where our development is, it's just, I can literally say I'm going 2 lights up and just go 2 lights up and be exactly where I got to be. And a nice little trip to the grocery store can take like 15 minutes as opposed to an hour.
Yep. Yeah, you definitely have a shop right here. You have Acme here. You also have a Trader Joe's.
Yes.
And if you do want Wegmans, you just go over to Mount Laurel, probably 10 minutes from here. 12 minutes from here. Okay.
12 whole minutes.
Yeah. So you have options depending on how you prefer to shop here in Marlton. And you have all the big box stores as well. So there is a Walmart. There's a Target. I think technically it's in
right
Voorhees.
Next to it, actually.
Yeah, the Walmart's right there on the right. Across on the left is one of the shopping plazas. That's where Chicken and the Egg is. A staple of folks here in Marlton.
We've been there a few times.
There's lots of places to eat. If you want something that's more casual, you definitely have the chicken and the egg. If you want something a little more upscale, you could go down to the promenade, where you're gonna have restaurants like Rio. There's a PF Chang's there. There's La Scala Fire, which is great. And then you have shopping. You have Kohl's, Michael. There's a Best Buy outlet here. There's the Apple Store. There's even some higher end shopping as well over by the promenade. So Marlton, if you're looking in Burlington County and you want options for shopping, there's Marlton and that's it. Yes.
I will say, even for somebody like me who loves shopping, it does become a little overwhelming because you have so many choices. So I have actually taken to like our town Facebook page before I even do anything. I'm like, where's a good place to get your nails done? Where's a good place for this? Best ice cream places. And I even like apologize with the preface, like, I'm still new, I'm still learning. So sometimes it does get a little bit overwhelming. I'm mastering this 73-70 switch because you get a little bit confused if you don't know your north from your south and your east from your west, or if you don't know exactly where a store is located on 73, you might be like, oh, I overshot it. So I'm getting good.
It takes time and you're like, okay, and especially if you're in Jersey, you got to understand the jug handle thing, right? So I did a video on jug handles, but maybe you can explain it to people. Like, how would you describe the jug handle to someone who's not from Jersey, or maybe they're terrified of it?
So let me say this. I am the Jersey girl that says I hate New Jersey and I can't wait to like grow up one day and move out of here. But I will tell you that there are certain things that will definitely like just remain in my heart forever. And a jug handle is one of them. I hate when I go to a different state and I have to like turn left through 6 lanes. I feel like it's the safest way to help us just make that left-hand turn without, maybe dying in the process.
It's convenient.
I love it. I love me a good jug handle. I'll take them all day long. I'll make 7 rights to make a left. I don't care.
We should actually, we should find a jug handle and drive through it and prove to people that we just did just now. But actually, it was I didn't realize we just drove through it. There's become so second nature.
I love them.
Yeah, well, they're just, instead of waiting in the left hand for somebody to make a left-hand turn, you just go to the right and get out of everybody's way.
Yeah.
So,
it's crazy though. Like I'm a pretty aggressive driver. I hate to say that, but I've got like the world's worst road rage. So like that jug handle is like a nice moment for me to just take my breath.
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath.
Yep.
And not murder anybody in the process. So I don't know. I love a jug handle.
Yeah. So basically, if you're coming to an intersection, instead of having a traditional 4-way stop, what you're going to have is on the right-hand side, you're going to have that empty space that exists at the intersection anyways. You're going to go past the intersection, and then you are going to take an immediate right and curve around and be at the other side of the intersection. So now everybody's just going straight forward. See, here we go. Let's jug handle. Ready? Jug handle.
Look
jug
at it.
handle.
It's so nice.
We just, see, we're turning. We're turning. We have options.
There's my orthodontist.
There you go.
Wave.
Hi, orthodontist. But you literally, like, instead of trying to deal with the traffic coming from the other direction to turn, you just get in line like we are right now, right? And we're out of their way. And then we're going to turn left. It's very easy.
I love it.
It's very easy. What are the schools like here for someone who isn't from here and they're trying to make a decision about the quality of the schools here in Marlton?
These schools are no joke. They are very, very competitive. So to our teacher friends that are listening to this, they are on top of all of our standards, our state standards. They make sure that their students are meeting benchmarks. And it is just it is a school district that requires a lot of rigor. Thank goodness my son has me as a mom, because I'm like, you have to do well in school so you can be like whatever you want to be when you grow up. And so he did make a pretty decent transition from one school to the other. But yeah, like with us being right in a regional school district, I think it's Lenape, Cherokee, Seneca, Shawnee. So those are big schools, and they are no joke when it comes to sports. It is a very, very, very competitive town. So if you are used to that or are looking for that, you're going to fit right in here in the schools. The schools really do pump out kids that are going to colleges. They pump out kids that are in good sports programs. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier. So, and it's just a big township. They're scattered everywhere.
What do you think about the quality of teachers here?
So I'm kind of in a little tricky situation. So Tony is in 5th grade and he goes to Beeler Elementary. His teachers are fantastic, and they're super supportive. I can't speak to the elementary school as a whole because Tony,
you haven't experienced it.
I haven't experienced it. But Tony is only going to be there for 1 year. And then he transitions to the middle school. And because of where we live in Marlton, he'll be going to DeMacy. And I've heard nothing but good things from that school because I have some friends that have children that go there. Or depending on what side of Marlton you're on, he might go to Marlton Middle School. So the 3 teachers that I've had interactions with are very, very good. I actually just had a talk with some child study team professionals, and they're very, very supportive. Very professional. They know their stuff. So like I said, I've had the pleasure of dealing with maybe like 5 or 6 people within district, and that has been a pleasure. So I have no complaints there.
That's awesome. What do you think, aside from the competitiveness and sort of like the teachers being on top of things, are there any other characteristics about the school that you think make it a place where kids excel?
I think the community itself. Like, what I've noticed is that the PTA for his school is just insane. There is always a fundraiser going on. There is always something that I am like throwing money at. I'm like, what? Didn't I just buy something? So the PTA is super involved. Parents are really involved with their kids, so that really boosts a school community. I have to pick Tony up every Tuesday and Thursday so he can make it to swim on time. And the parents that are out there are just, waving at teachers, being involved with their kids. It is definitely something to see when the whole community, not just the school, is doing everything they can to help their students and their young learners thrive. And it just makes me really happy to see that.
I love that. I love that. One of the things that's great about Marlton too is that there are so many little communities. So you can get sort of a house at any price point, really. There are some condos, there are some townhouses here in town. You certainly have a lot of starter homes. That's going to be, you might get something in the mid 3s if you're lucky, but really you're going to be in most of these starter homes here in Marlton are going to be probably in the mid 4s to the early 5s. You will get in the neighborhood that you guys moved into, the homes in there, I would say those run $450 to $550 right now.
Yep, I know. It's a competitive area because everybody does want to be there, but it's definitely worth it. Like, at no point have Anthony and I said, did we make the right choice? The second we made the choice, or the second we decided that this was it for us, like, we knew. And if you know Anthony the way I know Anthony, like, he's a little indecisive, like, and he doesn't really express how he felt. When it got to the end, you were there for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it was like, definitely my husband was my knight in shining armor because he remained calm the whole time. He handled everything, but he fought so hard for us to get into this house. And I was just like, wow, I'm so proud of you. Because it's definitely where we wanted to be. Like, the second we knew, we were like, we're doing whatever we got to do to get here.
Yeah, the New Jersey housing market is still very competitive, especially in the spring. You know, you have to be prepared for that. You really do. I just saw this diagram of the entire country. In New Jersey has the single highest level of deficiency of homes available for sale.
Yeah.
In the entire country. So if you're going to come here and you're considering making a move here, you just got to be prepared for it. It's totally navigatable. You guys did it. And you're still here to tell the tale.
I know.
So,
look at that.
you know, but you do have to be prepared, you know. You sold your house and you were buying a house at the same time. So you're getting double the stress.
Double the stress.
And you're getting squeezed on both sides. And I think that people are not fully prepared for that, of how much squeeze you're going to feel.
I don't think we were fully prepared for that. And you and Trey were so transparent from like the second we said hello, right? And Anthony and I, before bed, we were like, okay, like, we know it's going to be stressful. This person wants that and that person wants this. Why are we making everybody happy and nobody's making us happy? And we made it through. So if we can do it, we've got my husband who's very, very quiet and shy, and we've got me who is, you know, I'm super outgoing and lovable until I'm not.
Until you get mad, you have to drop the F-bombs.
While I'm on my way to class, yes. So yes, we made it through. It was definitely worth it. And it's hard. It is very hard. This is Denise, actually.
There it is, right there.
But yeah, it was, you just have to breathe and just trust, especially if you're working with Trey and Braden. Like, you just have to trust them.
Well, thank you.
So, yeah.
I'll take the
You're
endorsement.
welcome. I'll give you like
I will take it. I will take it. Yeah, when you are buying and selling, right? Everybody hears, oh, it's seller's market. You're going to get to pull all the strings. And that's true, unless you need the buyer of your house. You're at the mercy of the person who's selling their house and the person who's buying your house. You need them to do all of the things to get across the finish line. And if they don't, it can jeopardize your dream of the next chapter.
Oh, we felt that a couple times. Not just once. It was like a couple times.
And it's just hard. You're going to feel that squeeze. But you gotta, the thing I tell people is, I'm like, hey, when you're in a stressful situation or a stressful transaction, and you know, you do your best to try to get everything to line up in the way that they're supposed to, but sometimes there are hiccups and there are hurdles that we have to pivot and navigate around, and the stress piles on. And I think it's crucial to remember that, like, hey, at some point, it's going to be done. And the stress or the seller's being a jerk or the buyer is being difficult, like, those, they don't move into the house with you.
No.
They're gone, you know? So.
Yeah, it definitely was that. It is an emotional roller coaster. And I mean, when we sold our house, we had been in our house for 16 years.
Wow.
So, and when we purchased our house, we were moving out of Anthony's mom's house. So we were just buying. So it was so different. And I think we understood, but it definitely wasn't like buying a house 16 years ago.
No.
Definitely wasn't. So we learned a lot. And I hope that if we ever have to move again, it's not like having to relearn all of this again. Because it is an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like sometimes we do meet people who are like, oh, I've bought and sold before. I'm like, yeah, but have you bought and sold in the last 5 years? Because it ain't the same.
No,
you know,
it is not.
And you have to be prepared, and you gotta have some open-mindedness, because you know there's not that many homes that are available for sale, and you gotta know where your line in the sand is, and you have to understand what's the difference between the line and the sand items, and what's the difference between the, okay, I wish I had this, but if I only had this, it would be okay.
Yeah. And speaking of all of that, Trey did a lot of going into the houses with us while we were looking. And he was like so awesome with like asking Tony things that he really looked for in a house, asking me and Anthony things. And we saw I was like, I just need a house with 2 toilets. Like if I could have that, that would be amazing. And I just need a bigger kitchen. Like those were like my big things. And then a lot of the houses that we looked at actually had like the half bathrooms like directly in the kitchen. I was like, I don't want any of that.
Sure.
So when we found our house, like the bathroom is, the half bath is relatively close to the kitchen, but there's also this, my kitchen is huge compared to what we had before. And so I'm like, no, it's far enough away from like where I'm cooking and meal prepping and doing all this that like I'm not even affected by it. But that was his thing. He was like, are you sure, Cristina? Like there's a bathroom right here and there's a stove over there. So that is definitely one of those things where, just as you were saying, like you have to look at things that you definitely have to have and things that you're willing to kind of just be like, it's not exactly what I want, but I can kind of make it work. Because I mean, the only way you're going to get that is if you build a brand new house from like the ground up. Yes. You are moving into a house that was built. I mean, our house is, I think, 40 years old. So that's what was cool around that time, right? And so now we have to make it livable for us today. So I definitely remember those conversations of things that Anthony had on his wish list and I had on my wish list. And there was no house that was going to have all those things ever. Like we would have just had to buy 2 different houses.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you get lucky, but sometimes you gotta be like, okay, I could deal without that. And then there's also like the thing that will pop up after you moved into the house. You're like, oh wait, I wish I had something else on my list. You know, because it's just nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Like, I love my house, but I wish I had thought about how much land came with my house. That's the one thing that I'm constantly like, oh, I wish I had more land. And so if I ever sell my house, that would be on my list. But at the end of the day, you got to know what do you need right now for the next chapter of your life.
Yes.
Because it will change. Life happens, you know?
Yep.
If somebody's trying to make a decision about where to live in Burlington County or in South Jersey, overall, like, what do you think are the top reasons why people consider here?
I'm going to go back to proximity as being like a number one, right? Especially if like you're already a Burlington County resident, but just kind of relocating here. So many of our doctors are right by 38 and right off of 70 and right off of 73. So that makes it a lot easier. If you're new and just coming, say you're coming from Philly or say you're coming from New York, this area is very close back to Philly, or, you know, it's very easy to get a train to New York. It's got the proximity, it's got good schools, and it's got just ease of access almost to a lot of places. So I think that when you come out here, you're like, okay, I can definitely make this work. I can see this working for me.
Yeah, I mean, South Jersey, I think people didn't quite put their eye on the ball of South Jersey really being this like Goldilocks of a place to live. And I think people are realizing that as home values have gotten it kind of squeezed people out of other areas. They look to South Jersey and they're like, oh, wait a minute, this has made a ton of sense. Why didn't I think of it before? And
what I find really funny is like, so Burlington County is our biggest county in New Jersey, right? And it's the start of what we consider South Jersey. But when we think of South Jersey, we're thinking of like Mullica Hill and Glassboro and all those places like deep down there where it's like no man's land, essentially. And then you realize that Burlington County is kind of where you want to be if you're in South Jersey, because you're just right in the middle of everything. So I don't know, I like it. It's a good place.
It's pretty it's easy to live. It's easy to live here. There's nothing to like. You're not gonna have any wow factor moving here. Just out of transparency, like there's not like oh my God, there's this amazing like tourism vibe or nightlife or any of those things.
You gotta move. You gotta travel a little bit for those things.
But we're low-key near all of them. Do you know, like that's like everybody wants to live near the downtown, but they want more breathing room, and that's what South Jersey is like.
Yeah.
I sort of joke. I made a video talking about how South Jersey is like friends with benefits.
Yeah.
It's like you get the benefits and you also get the friend thing, right? By being here, because you really do get all of those things. Yeah. It is creeping up there in price, and part of that is the squeeze of Jersey as a whole, but also South Jersey in particular has been underpriced compared to our geographic neighbors.
Yes.
And so there's a price correction going on as well. So it's catching up. So there's time to still absolutely get a good deal and leverage getting into the market and making money off.
Yeah. And like out here, I think you're getting like a lot of house and a lot of land, right? I mean, we had a pretty decent backyard in our house and a pretty decent front yard at our old house. And we didn't lose that. Like, we have a giant backyard. We have a beautiful front yard. And we didn't lose those things. So, and with it being such a big development, our neighbors could be way closer and they're not. So I like that about where we live. And I like the fact that it's spring break for us now. And one of the things that I'm planning on doing is going into the city for those museums and things like that, because for us, that's fun. And it's an easy trip. Like, you can take an entire day out there.
Sure.
And only an hour total of driving between getting there and back. So, and then you just hang out in the city.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with me and driving around Marlton.
You're very welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for, honestly, for supporting our business by being clients of ours. We appreciate that.
You're absolutely welcome. Yeah, you guys want them for your realtors. I can't sing your praises enough.
Oh. Well, sing it. Sing it. I want to hear you sing it.
No, I can't. I
Don't make me sing.
today.
Don't make me sing.
Don't make me do it. Don't make me sing it. Ask them to be your realtors. No.
I'm going to make that a ringtone.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for spending time. Send my best to the boys.
Oh, I will. They're top golfing right now.
Oh, another thing you can do.
Yes, exactly. Tony actually had swim practice, and then his aunt is in from North Carolina, so that's what they're doing.
Awesome. Awesome. We'll send my best to them.
I will.
And I hope I see them soon, and I hope I see you again soon.
Yeah, stop by anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, bye. That was so much fun. It was great to catch up with Cristina, find out what she and Tony and their son Tone have been up to, checking in with them about their choice, their decision to make a move to Marlton. And it just makes me so happy that they're loving living here. They're connecting with the community, they're enjoying the schools, and taking full advantage of all the amazing amenities that a town like Marlton has to offer. If you're considering making a move to and around the area, definitely reach out to us, because we would love to help you with your next move. Book a consultation, and if you're enjoying these videos, definitely hit subscribe, because we make videos just like this and release them every single week, and we would love to help provide you with some value and information. Until then, until the next video, thank you so much. My name is Braden, and go live your life greatly. I'll see you soon. Bye.